Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Command & Conquer Rivals Replay Request. Kawa, one of the first guys I watched stream this game, made it to the top 100 in the Tiberium League. Congratulations, dude. Hopefully you'll stay there over the next, 24 hours as we gear up for pre-launch. But as we go into it, Kawa and Kockenlocker, both high level, both in the top 100, I do believe. At the same time, very similar builds. The only difference in this build is that we have a Talon swapped out for a Pitbull, and it's Colonel Jackson up against Lieutenant Strongarm. So boosted units up against a bit more of a builder. The Strongarm turret can really make or break some of these fights. But GDI versus GDI on Lone Spire. Let's give it a quick look-see here as we jump in to Kawa, freshly of the top 100. Kockenlocker, I think, is like 50, 60, somewhere in the top there as well. Big thing to notice on this map as we start off with Harvesters is that I don't have a mouse capture, so the base has 3 rocks. This will limit where you can build things. You cannot build things up in those corners. Not that you have really a choice, but they won't spawn up there. So that's just something to keep in mind for double range units, for things like flyers, for things like securing points and worrying about getting rushed from 2 sides. You can't just do it. So early game, very similar stuff. We have some shocks and some missiles out there. Double shocks, everybody's just kind of responding nicely in tune with each other. We're turning it into basically death matches everywhere. 1v1 up top, 2v2 down bottom. A few defender advantages going the way of Kawa in this one. So I think he will come out ahead on all of these fights. And in the bottom right, you can see his shocks do live, but they will not move forward into those healthier shocks. Don't know what just happened. I think I have a stream alert on somewhere. But at the same time, we clean up the top. Kawa will actually suffer some losses to that turret that comes out. The Lieutenant Strongarm turret does actually clean up some of those infantry. And now Kawa is throwing down the Talons. This is the difference between the builds. Kockenlocker doesn't have those. The only big thing he can really do at this point is start building Pitbulls, and he does that. So Air Tower from Kawa and a War Factory from Kockenlocker. So a bit of spam on his base, as Kawa is just kind of forced to deal with the shocks there, but it doesn't seem to matter too much. That turret will actually change the course of that one. I thought this was going to be a red missile very quickly, but now it's just going to be some Talon spam on all the points. Yellow, yellow, red. Good stuff. He's going to lose those. It's a 60 Tiberium investment from Kawa to make sure he can get that missile, but that's a lot of pressure now off of Kawa. So what do you do from here? Well, if it's just going to be missiles and Pitbulls, you're probably not going to see too many more Talons coming out, but that's where Kawa has these jump jets. But Kockenlocker's turret spam on this middle point has actually been pretty consistent and pretty darn impactful. He's bringing down either entire squads of units or he's bringing them down low. So Kockenlocker has some more shocks. He brings them forward. We're cleaning up this infantry. More Talon spam to come out from Kawa. Should be able to 2v1 those missiles up there. But at the same time, he also has a Predator tank out. That Predator tank is pretty beefy, especially up against the infantry spam, the Pitbull spam, right? It's not going to go down fast. It holds these points really well. It's also forcing Kockenlocker now to deal with it in this bottom corner. The Talons finally come down. Kawa can just spam out more units. Kockenlocker loses his Harvester, though. That's the 3rd building now from Kawa, as he is basically ready for the endgame. But he doesn't have point superiority. That Predator tank's at the end of its life. He's not going to be able to keep that. This is going to be a Kockenlocker missile. There it goes. Not a problem. Shocks versus shocks. The Hammerhead to come out, though. Kawa just throws the Hammerhead straight to the base. Doesn't actually hit the base. He threw it to the point. Not entirely too sure if he was just going for a beefier air unit trying to stop out the points from capping or not, but he also didn't get any damage done, and that was a pretty significant investment for a very little return. That is going to be a problem here for Kawa. You can see him struggling a little bit here. Blue has units everywhere. Predator tank down low. Shocks now getting cleaned up. The jump jet troopers from Kawa, however, have been very heroic in this. The one Predator tank is actually just going to go uncontested in the top right. Doesn't even matter about the other points. Kockenlocker couldn't go blue quick enough in the top left, and that puts Kawa into a victory scene. I think he got 19 or 20 points out of this. So yeah, Kockenlocker definitely higher up. And those Pitbull spam, like, they worked out well enough, but the Talon spam from Kawa was able to just nullify points long enough for a win. And I've seen that so much today as we go into global release tomorrow.